Yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 37 of season 2. Roger and out. All the titles have some meaning. You'll figure that out as we go through our show. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there. Ron, how are you?
Doing okay. It's another week, and we'll have probably at least one more Ron rant today.
All right. I can't wait. I promised I will not use explicit language today. Good job, Ron.
Even all my rants, I never do.
Yeah. We've got so much to unfold. So let's start off right with our leadoff story. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Los Angeles Chargers last night, 27-24. Amazon Prime's first NFL game. A little bit controversy there as well. Do you consider the Chiefs the best team in the AFC West?
No. Maybe
Wow.
right right now, but I don't think they're going to finish that way. I'm still holding true to my predictions so far. I have predicted correctly in that division.
So I looked at it a couple different ways. When I think about the fact that Patrick Mahomes has changed as a quarterback, I've noticed the first two games here, a lot more of the dink and dunk, taking what's being given to you, not trying to go for the deep balls. He doesn't have the Tyreek Hill. He's spreading the ball around. Kelsey, 13 catches, Schuster, 9, Hilaire, 7, Hardman, 6, Scantling with 6. So he's mixing it up. I think this makes him better, honestly. And they're second in points overall in the league. They're the number one scoring team in the AFC West. The defense has only given up 22.5 points a game. I know it's only a 2-game sample, but they've beaten the Chargers. Again, division rival. Now, you know what I mean? That's like an extra half game up. Those games matter. And I just feel like, look, I think everybody counted them out. They thought they were going to lose all that talent. It was going to end up costing them. And I think that it made them a better team. I think they honestly looking at things a lot different.
Oh, I think it actually has as well, because, when you don't have that long ball threat like they had, and I'm not saying that they don't have a threat for that right now, but it was almost like a guarantee, 50-50 shot of going to complete that pass for a long touchdown. That threat isn't there, so it's actually made him a smarter quarterback.
It's definitely helped.
Because you have no choice but to be smarter.
So that's why I think they're the best team now in the West.
It's similar, Eric. It's similar to a 3-point shooter. When you got a good one that can shoot, say, 40%, 40% of the time you're going to get that 3-point shot, right? That's great. But if it's less than that, then the amount of shots you take matter. And that's what you were seeing last season. You had that threat of the long ball, so he was just kept going to it and kept going to it and kept going to it. Well, the more you fail on it, the more it's not worth doing. And I think Kansas City actually looked at that and said, if we would have had smarter plays down low somewhere, in that 10 to 15 yard range, that would have been the smarter way to go. And we would have been fine. We probably would have won, the AFC championship. That's probably the way they looked at it. And I truly believe that was the smarter thing to do, was to cut him loose.
Manny, thanks for joining. Yeah, it was a bad pick. Herbert threw that, bad pick, 99-yard return. But again, Kansas City is doing what they need to do to win. Here's the key, though, for them. The next 6 games, they got Indy next, They should be able to beat Indy, but then Tampa Bay, Las Vegas, Buffalo, San Francisco, a bye, and then Tennessee before I think they play Jacksonville. This stretch here is going to be very important to them, especially that Las Vegas game. You'll want to win that game because it's in your division. If they can take the Vegas game and maybe 3 of these next 6.
But where is that one being played?
I believe in Kansas City.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but
because I don't have my predictions with the schedule in front of me today, and I wish I did. I just thought of it now when you said that. But if they play at home at Las Vegas, that is good because I know I have them winning at home, and I have them starting pretty well this season. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I went with a 12-5 record to finish the season for Kansas City, which is really good. But it might actually be 11 wins. And I think Las Vegas and LA Chargers, I had 12. So I had this division really close. But I think Kansas City's schedule is just a wee bit harder.
Yeah, Kansas City at home.
So, so I have them winning the Vegas game there. So far, I've been spot on with this division. So, that's pretty impressive considering where we're at and, who Kansas City's even played.
Yeah. So I would say this as well. When you count out a team that's been there before,
right?
Sometimes that's added motivation. And I think right now they're on that high of, look, everybody's doubting us. Everybody got better in our division. So everyone counted us out. And the teams I thought that were going to be really good, like the Vegas, struggled. Because, again, now they're trying to get acclimated to each other. Denver, the coaching situation could come into play there. And then the Chargers have all this talent. Yesterday's game, it was all about talent. J.C. Jackson came back. Right? They got Khalil Mack. You're saying, okay, look at what the Chargers have on offense. There's no way the Chiefs can stay with them. And the Chiefs did. And the Chiefs ended up having a better defense than Los Angeles did.
The Kansas City defense is what's impressing me right now. Because they were kind of a mess last year. And I know they added some pieces, but they did lose a big piece on that defense.
Yeah. Tyrann Mathieu.
Right. And so you had to wonder what was going to happen with that. But his replacement played fantastic, as did everybody else on that defense, because that's been the impressive part, is that defense. So if that defense holds up, I think they could change the fate that I have, for them. But again, it's like, pick your poison in that division. We said it so many times.
Yeah, it was the hardest.
Anybody can finish first. Anybody can finish last.
Yeah. And again, I think KC jumping out to the 2-0 lead. Big, again, they're charging to 2-0. Love the pun there. Kenny, thanks for joining as well. We're going to move on to some more NFL, though. We're going to bring up the gentleman on our screen, and that is one Mr. Dak Prescott. I'm sure Manny has a lot to say about this. But he injured his thumb in week 1.
Oh, look, he's giving him a high five.
With the loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is it a good idea for the Dallas Cowboys to rush him back? The expectation was he was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Now they didn't put him on the IR because they feel he could be back by week 5 versus the Los Angeles Rams. Your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys and their decision to try to rush him back?
They are probably going to rush him back, and it would be bad for them to do that because they're just going to risk losing him for the rest of the year. Look, I don't like how Dallas organization has really worked in the past several years. Namely, coaching and, just the way they're treating their players. They draft incredibly well. look, Parsons was just a steal. And I just think that I think the Dallas organization really needs to stop letting Jerry
Jerry
get in
Jones.
the
Yeah.
way.
Jerry Jones is basically destroying this team every single year,
Yeah,
more and
he
more.
just thinks he's smarter than everybody, and he's
And
not.
this decision would be, listen, if you don't want to put him on the IR because he's still allowed to practice, contribute, and I get that part of it, but I would still not put him in until we know that if he's going to take a hit on that hand, that it's not ultimately going to cost him more weeks. Week 5, great. Play the Rams. If you end up winning that game, who knows where you're going to be at. Cooper Rush is going to be their starting quarterback until he comes back. I would really start to question how dangerous this move is, because at least you go, let's say 6 weeks. If you win 1 or 2 games in that span, you're 2-4. You still got a healthy Dak Prescott for the end of the season. You could go on a run here and make some noise. He gets hurt because you bring him back in week 5, and now he's out for another 6 to 8 weeks. Your season's over. Your season's over.
And when you look at it with the NFC, I think the NFC is a pretty weak conference right now.
Yeah,
it's very top heavy with like 4 or 5 good teams, and then there's the rest. And like I have an 8 and 9 team going to the last wild card spot. So, I mean, I don't think at any point this team should be out of the running. And I just think it's a mistake to rush him in. What they should be doing is looking for a quarterback that they can bring in, even if it's not to make a trade, but somebody out there, look, I am the first one to get all over Cam Newton. But what is the harm in bringing him in and at least be your backup, in case something goes wrong? Because personally, Cam Newton has to be better than this guy.
Cooper Rush.
He's got to be better than him.
This is the sequel. Rush Hour 4 coming out this week. Do you not understand the words coming out of my mouth? Get ready.
Do you not understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Cooper Rush is going to bring the Dallas Cowboys to some success. If I am a Dallas fan right now, first of all, we're probably talking him off a ledge. But secondly, I'd be questioning again Jerry Jones deciding not to try to pick up a quarterback, as you said, just in case.
Yeah.
It baffles me that we're going to just sit here and know that a guy that really hasn't performed much, he's been in the organization for 6 years, but really hasn't played much, and you're awfully, again, talented.
And when you think about it, look, when I look at this team and how bad the offensive line is, I think Cam Newton would be a perfect fit for them because he can get out of the pocket and really hurt some teams. So if they have a team that's not going to play discipline and going to be looking for that sack and just putting on too much pressure, and somebody like a Newton can get out of there, he's going to hurt you.
Manny, who I know is a Dallas fan, he just said bring Newton and AB. Antonio Brown. At this point, look, they need to make the Amari Cooper loss. You can see it already. The Dallas Cowboys were the highest scoring team last season in the league. They were the only team in the NFL last week that didn't score a touchdown.
This talk of Ben Roethlisberger
coming out of retirement, and
like they actually mentioned this on those other networks. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to pay enough for Roethlisberger to come in there unless he was going to play the whole season.
Well, again, you know what? Look, Tom Brady retired for 40 days. You
I'm
get
just
that
saying,
itch.
they're not going to be able to pay him
I don't think Roethlisberger actually wanted to leave Pittsburgh. I think that was more of the team saying, look, we're done.
We've might be right on that.
Michael Gallup out for week 2 as well. Yeah, they're beat up. That offensive line's very suspect as well. And you bring a Dak Prescott back too early, he's taking hits. Tampa Bay was getting to him, and now you're gonna jeopardize that whole thing. He's gonna have a metal plate in his thumb.
Look, Dallas. I only have one thing to say to the Dallas Cowboy fans. Um, go check out the Dynasties episode we have on the Dallas
Phenomenal.
Cowboys, because you might as well, because you ain't winning a championship this year, so you're not going to have a dynasty for a while. So go check out that Dynasties episode
Little
on Rhode Island
banter going
Broadcasting.
on in the chat room. It don't matter what they do. Sorry, that's what Kenny said. Going right at Manny. He don't care. The Dallas Cowboys, no matter what they do, they're going to lose, according to Kenny. I love it. Well, I guess it's time to break down our New England Patriots game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Your thoughts on this upcoming game and what you'd like to see from the New England Patriots?
I'd like to see a little more cohesiveness on the offense. I would like to see at least 10 points. At least 10 points. Field goal
and a touchdown. We're going in the right direction.
We're
making progress. Yeah,
we're
making progress. Yeah.
Look, I mean, we know what everybody's talking about, and that is the lack of an offensive coordinator, lack of offensive guys even running the offense, the lack of any kind of momentum that a team needs to actually have a decent game. Like, they haven't had any momentum at all. When your defense is playing like almost the entire game, that is not a formula to win. So they have to get their act together against Pittsburgh, who just stole a game from Cincinnati.
Yeah, so a couple of things I looked at. Pittsburgh defensively against Cincinnati gave up 432 yards.
Yeah.
299 yards passing, 130 against the rush. New England needs to run the ball better.
Yep.
There's an opportunity here. Look, 5 turnovers by Cincinnati against Pittsburgh obviously helped. But if you think about it, their offense has struggled with Pittsburgh as well. You get 5 extra chances and you still only put up 23 points. And again, it was because of the overtime and the field goal. They weren't scoring. They've only had 75 yards rushing, 192 yards passing. The defense for New England can slow them down and I believe control this game. If the offense can run the ball effectively, I like our chances. But again, positive play calling, keep the momentum. It's going to be important. Cannot have turnovers. We had 3 turnovers against Miami. You have 3 turnovers with Pittsburgh. Again, that's definitely going to hurt you and put you in a position not to win this game. This is why we didn't put Manny on the NFL preview show, because he's thinking with his heart. You got to think with your mind, my friend, your mind.
Look, I have the Patriots, in the preview show, winning this game. I'm standing by that. Look, I think when you go down to Miami and you're New England, that is a big rivalry. We know this. And we know even when we had Tom Brady, it was still tough to beat Miami. In Miami. Now, we're going to find out where Miami is this week, because they don't exactly have an easy game. They're going on the road, so we're gonna find out a little more about both these teams, because there's a lot of question marks over both of these teams' heads, and a lot of it has to do with the coaching side of things with the Patriots and Tua for Miami. So we're gonna find out who is who real soon. So, and this is going to be a big game for both those teams for different reasons.
I honestly feel like this is a winnable game for New England. Not me being a homer, just if you look at the numbers, you have opportunities to make sure you win this game. Again, we can question the coaching, the offensive coach, run the ball. Manny, right on it, right? Damian Harris needs to run the ball. Again, I said it after the Patriots post game. Stop splitting the backs. Let Damian Harris get 20, 25 carries in this game. Control that. The offensive line is going to be a question, though. Trent Brown, questionable to play. He's the only real major injury. And then the IRs, I mean, no TJ Watt for Pittsburgh. That's definitely a plus for New England.
Yeah,
That slows down that
big.
pass rush.
Is Najee Harris also
Najee Harris has been
dinged
cleared
up?
as well. He will definitely play. 7 sacks they had last week, Pittsburgh. So they're going to come at him.
That's a little scary.
Yeah. So can New England's offensive line, especially if Trent Brown's not playing, will they be able to block?
I gotta believe that the offensive line for the Patriots is a little better than Cincinnati's.
Cincinnati,
and I know
they had a great line.
I know they did, but it didn't look that way. It didn't look that way, and frankly, there was 2 plays that they really got in on Mac Jones, and nearly took his head off. But
yeah, and he's been battling some stuff, back spasms.
Yeah,
had an illness, missed practice on Thursday. So again, how much is he going to be prepared? That could be a question as well. Look, it's you got a new system in place, and you missing time, especially as a quarterback, it could affect you.
I think they're going to be okay.
We will predict this game at the end of the show, by the way. Kenny already did it. Kenny 28-17. Write it down. Kenny is in the predictions. No more 9-9, Kenny. Good job.
I kind of agree.
Predictions at the end of the show.
That's pretty close to where I would put the score as well.
See, Ron, we save it for the end. Save it for the end. Let's talk about some games of interest this week. Week 2, we already had a big game last night. But what games are you looking forward to Sunday and Monday?
Okay, so let me get my list out. Tampa Bay, New Orleans.
All right, can Tom win in Tampa Bay? Hasn't beaten Tampa Bay since he's been a Buck.
Tampa Bay is banged up. Oh, my Lord. They look like a mash.
Their whole wide receiver squad is basically out now.
Yeah.
Godwin out. Gage is out. I think
they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in trouble.
Yeah. Plus the offensive line trouble.
But I did predict them to – never mind.
You are horrible. You know what? So I had that game as well. And I think this is going to be the best game of the week.
Then don't say it yet.
No, Vikings-Eagles. I'm not picking it. Manny already said. Manny just chimed in. I think we're thinking alike tonight, Manny. Vikings-Eagles. You think about one of these teams is going to be 2-0 unless this tie thing happens, which please do not let it happen again. But Vikings-Eagles, both of these teams, look, you beat up a banged-up Green Bay team that definitely you can take over this division. And the Eagles, knowing Dallas's injuries, the Giants eked by. I think they're going to be competitive, but not a winning organization this year. And the Commanders, the Eagles could start to take over this division early. This is a very important game for both of these teams. I think that's a very important game.
Well, we know nobody's won the division in how many years? It's been a long time, right?
Every year it's a different. So yeah, it might be Phillies, but I think that's a great game. What else do you have?
I have Tennessee and Buffalo.
I have that game as well.
For
different reasons.
Now, yeah, I'm curious if Tennessee is going to show up this season.
Exactly. Is this it? Are we going to see Tennessee's true colors? If they come out and competitive and lose?
I mean, they couldn't win last week. That's not a good thing.
They should have won. Yeah.
That should have been a win for them. Should have.
Like you give up 160 yards on the ground. That's not a good sign.
No, and especially to that team.
And now you got Josh Allen who loves to run the ball as well. So you know what I mean. That one's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling that Tennessee is going to be out of this in a hurry.
And then how real is Buffalo? Look, if Buffalo puts up 45 on Tennessee and
this is just more fuel for their fire. You don't think that people are saying, "Oh, well, are they for real? Are they really this good?" And they're using that in that locker room. Josh Allen, to me, seems like a man on a mission like how Tom Brady used to be when he was with the Patriots. You know, he has that right now. And I'll tell you, I will take a high quality quarterback that has that fire over anybody at this point.
Agreed. Look, I think the world of Josh Allen. Again, he's my fantasy quarterback, but I think that he's matured so much in the last couple of years that you don't question him anymore. You really don't. And his Frito-Lay commercials are really pretty good.
He's just a brute too.
Have you seen his Frito-Lay commercials yet?
They're really yes, good. I did. Yeah, they are.
I like them.
I like them too.
I think they're doing a pretty good job with them.
Him and Stafford, I'll tell you.
Yeah, Stafford. He's got the Little Caesars now.
Yes, I know.
Right after the AT&T one, which was great.
Yep.
Now he's got the Little Caesars one. I like it. The only other game I had, Arizona at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I got that one as well.
And that one to me, one of these teams they both need to win. But how bad if Arizona looks bad again?
They're going to.
They're all done.
They're going to, and they're not going to be all done. I think their schedule at the beginning of the season is really difficult, and they're going to struggle at the beginning.
But how much of a factor does that Kyler Murray situation with the contract?
Look, I believe I have them going 0-3 at the start.
Right, but will they doubts start to creep in? Will those questions start to be asked? Is it more about him and his preparation?
And to me, I think that is exactly what Kyler Murray needs. I think he needs people to question it right now. Because he signs that big contract, he is floating on cloud 9, so he's floating through the games right now. And I think he needs a reality check, and I think the start is going to be that reality check because people are going to start questioning if Arizona should have done it, and that's going to trigger something with Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. Let's not take anything away from him. He's a good quarterback. I don't think he deserved that big of a contract this time. But, you know, it is what it is, and now he's got to go out there and perform. And I think, you know, after these next couple of games, because they're gonna lose. I think Las Vegas is going to win that game. They're playing at home. You know, this is what Las Vegas needs. They need a home game, and they're going to come out, you know, fired up as well. So I don't think Arizona's going to have enough to beat them. And, you know, but I think with the loss, it's going to help Kyler Murray. I know it sounds really stupid, but
it could.
In an odd kind of way, a bad start is going to actually help him.
Yeah, it very well could. Look, we've seen teams after a loss. Best example I can give as a Patriot fan, we're on to Cincinnati. That was a very bad loss in Kansas City. Everybody said it was over. That's it. The Patriot dynasty was over, and then they went on a run.
And Manny does have that right. Arizona is not the same team.
No, look,
and
Chandler
of course,
Jones.
J.J. Watt isn't even in.
J.J. Watt's hurt. No DeAndre Hopkins right now.
Nope.
Again, so a lot of question marks.
And that's why I have them having a rough start. And
do you have any other games?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay.
I have a couple of them, Miami and Baltimore.
Yep, I think that's a very interesting game for many reasons.
I think Baltimore is going to be all business. You know,
Miami really put it to them last year, and I'm sure that's sticking in the back of Baltimore's mind as well. They were injured and had some issues, so I could see them definitely being motivated and up for that.
Absolutely. And the other game is the Cincinnati-Dallas game.
I was going to put it down, and I thought, again, both of these teams need a win.
And you know who's winning that game, right?
Cincinnati.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to come out. I would not doubt that they score 40.
Again, Joe Burrow, I don't think makes the same mistakes. He's not going to throw 4 interceptions. I think he knows that he cost them a game.
You got to use Mixon. You got to use Mixon. Believe it or not, he is probably their best weapon. And I know that's saying a lot when they have Burrows and Chase.
And he wants the Bengals to put up 50 points because he's about done with the Cowboys at this point.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it could happen because, you know.
Games. A lot of good games. Both games on Monday night are going to be really good.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun weekend.
This week is going to have a lot of great games.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, football's back. We love it. It's triple play time, my friend. You are first this week. So I'm pretty excited about this one because we are finally getting to do some new stuff, not just these old, back in the days. These were the top yards leaders after week 1. That was Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Adams. We're going to decide who to start, who to bench, and who to cut. You're first. Who are you starting?
Okay, this is going to be really simple. I didn't even look up stats. So I know you like when somebody goes first and they have the stats and you don't have to give them.
Yep. No, I don't mind.
But I'm going to screw you on this part of it because I did not need to have stats to figure this one out.
Okay.
I don't care what the numbers show right now after week 1. Could care less.
Yep.
But I'm starting Adams. Devontae Adams is clearly the best receiver of these 3. It's not even a question. Not even a question. I don't care what the numbers say after week 1. He's the better receiver. I am benching Brown because he is the second best receiver on this group. And, maybe at the end of the year it might be different, but as of right now, A.J. Brown is coming off the bench. I'm cutting Jefferson. He just doesn't have the track record of either. And, these players haven't been around that long,
You needed to look at the stats, my friend.
I did not need to look at the stats. I know Brown is the guy that I want on the team.
So, Manny got it right. We had it exactly the same. You're correct on the Devontae Adams. 679 receptions, 8,262 yards receiving. This is the only concern with me was 12.2 yards per reception, lowest out of the 3 of them, and by a good margin. 74 touchdowns, though, in 77 games. So the man's basically a scoring machine. He's going to score almost every time. Justin Jefferson has to go on your bench. 205 receptions, 3,200 yards, 15.6 yards per reception, 19 touchdowns in 34 games as a pro. 34 games. A.J. Brown, I cut with 44 games, has 10 less receptions, 100 less or 50 less yards. He's got 5 more touchdowns. But again, 10 more games. 10 more games.
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson is going to surpass anything A.J. Brown does.
Yeah, but A.J. Brown is now getting another guy to throw. Who was throwing the ball to him?
Justin Jefferson is one of the best wide receivers.
No. You didn't answer the question. Who was throwing the ball to Brown?
Now?
No, before the season.
Ryan Tannehill.
Okay. Does this not compute?
Receptions?
Yeah, but I know his numbers were good with an average quarterback, if average.
16.2 yards per reception for A.J. Brown, though. Very impressive.
It is. That's why I'm saying those numbers, to me, speak volumes. With the quarterback that he had and the quarterback that he now has, it is like night and day. He's going to get bigger numbers. So I'm going to go Brown. I think he's just the better receiver. I'm not taking anything away from Jefferson.
Jefferson's a phenomenal receiver.
He is. He's a good receiver. Yes.
This kid's blown up. He's one of the best in the league. All right, it's NBA time. And I think this is where we go into our
it's coming. Here it comes.
D-bag of the week.
Here it comes. The rant.
And the D-bag of the week is going to be one owner, Robert Sarver. He's been fined $10.1 million and suspended for 1 year. Do you believe in this punishment?
No. Now, I'm not questioning whether they could do anything more than this because basically it's, one person's word over another because it's not on video, not on audio anywhere. So you're kind of just going by what people are telling whoever's investigating. Now, with that being said, look, the league knows this guy's a piece of crap. And that's exactly what he is. He's a piece of crap. And for once, I am agreeing with LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James and Chris Paul.
Because LeBron James said it perfectly. Perfectly. And maybe the commissioner can't do anything about it, but the players can. And I got a feel for Chris Paul because he's already been through this with one owner. And now he has to sit through it and go through it again with another crap owner.
So here's some of the allegations that were brought against him where he used the N-word, even when, several people asked him not to. Sex-related comments towards women, inappropriate comments about employees' appearances. He's been in control for 2 decades here, and he also runs the Phoenix Mercury. So a lot of questions. But now this is where it starts to get interesting. To your point, some of the players have already spoken out. PayPal, who actually has the jersey logos, has said if he's allowed to return next season, they are pulling their sponsorship.
Right.
That's about
and
$10 million.
That's where this all falls. This is where the bottom line is. Okay. When you have sponsors pulling out,
he should lose his teams. Absolutely.
That's when things get ugly because the team starts losing money and they have to do something about it. And this is what happens when the players start saying something and then the sponsors. Something else is going to get done, and I think they're going to force the NBA to force him out.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to happen.
And I'm probably going to mess this name up, and I apologize, but Jaham Najafahi is the vice chairman and minority owner of the Phoenix Suns. He's asked for a resignation. So you're talking about also high executives in this organization. And one of his great words, we don't want our children to think that's the kind of organization that we accept this kind of behavior. MBPA, so the Players Association Executive Director Tamika Tremaglio, saying she was speaking on behalf of the NBA players when they called for a lifetime ban of Robert Sarver. This needs to happen. Because as a league, as an organization, the Phoenix Suns have to do something. The Phoenix Mercury, a female league, shouldn't allow this kind of behavior to happen. I just hope more sponsors do this because that's the only thing that honestly, once money talks, we all know that. Once those sponsorships start going out the window and you're seeing millions of dollars going out the door with them, that's when decisions being made. Unfortunately, it should have been done before that because that would have been the right thing to do. But if this is what forces them to do it, then I'm absolutely for it.
Right. And now PayPal, if you need someone to sponsor,
Sports Unfolded
will be more than welcoming.
Well, I'll put
more than welcoming. Yeah, I'll get a look. I don't like tattoos because I don't like.
Look at a face tattoo.
I would. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Do it in a heartbeat.
And then you know what'll happen? PayPal will go on, and you're stuck with the tattoo.
Yeah, but then you can just make it into something else.
I like it.
You can, just stick an L in there and make it PlayPal.
Hey, look at you.
But no, but you're right. And I'm going to even go a step further, and I'm going to say, watch the NBA players sit out. Let's see if any of the players show up for the first day of training camp.
To your point, I hope this doesn't drag out. Like, I hope we don't wait the full year and then there's questions if he's coming back. Like, make some decisions. Make this happen sooner than later.
Look, you just got to do the right thing.
Yeah, if we're going to be discussing this for the whole NBA season, like, hey, he's coming back. Hey, he's coming back. Like, that's not going to make for good basketball either.
Yeah.
Let's talk some Major League Baseball, my friend, because we're done with our.
We can actually talk about that for a while because there's a lot.
We get a lot of those.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's too many in sports. There's too many.
He's calling you out, Kenny. You're going too far.
I'm not going too far. I didn't go far enough. Didn't go far enough. Wait, I still have a final thought.
Oh, boy. Major League Baseball season's, coming to an end. So we're going to ask, who would you consider MVP right now? Is there some guys that you're looking at in this MVP race?
Absolutely. And to me, I don't even think it's a question in the American League. If it's not Aaron Judge, he gets robbed. Period. And he's got 21 more home runs than anybody in that league right now. Like
57 home runs, 123 RBIs.
And people can say what they want about Aaron Judge.
And
Like
he's batting 310.
He's batting 310, putting up those numbers. Those are numbers that we talked about in that pick and roll with like Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Eddie Collins, and all those guys.
He leads the Yankee in all the hitting statistics.
Look,
on base percentage, hitting, home runs, RBIs, batting average.
And I despise the Yankees. Despise them.
Come on.
But I'll tell you, there are a few Yankees in history that I've liked. A few. Derek Jeter, almost impossible not to like, right? Mariano Rivera, impossible not to like. The next guy before that would have to go back to Ron Guidry. Louisiana Lightning,
Yeah.
But Aaron Judge, there is just something about him that is, he should be the face of baseball. Because, between him and Devers, they're always smiling. They just enjoy playing the game. And that's what you want in this league. You want that guy. And when the guy is hitting this many home runs and still batting 310, he's got a chance for the Triple Crown. Now, I know he's 10 points behind the league.
Yeah, and the batting average. That's going
to be tough to overcome at this stage. But to even think about that, even think about a Triple Crown, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
So I am going to tell you right now, it's not going to work. I know what you're doing. Because he's also said that he would explore the opportunity this winter of possibly going to Boston. And you're trying to downplay. If this was any other time and he was signed for the next 5 years with the New York Yankees, you would not be saying this.
No, there's
a shot he comes to Boston.
No, it's absolutely wrong because I think he's staying with New York. I think they'd be idiots to let him go.
They will. They're going to make this mistake.
They're not going to make the mistake.
Shohei Ohtani, he gets thrown in the mix because of the pitching. But, again, his pitching number is very good. 12-8, 2.55 ERA.
Where's the Angels? Where's the Angels?
No, and I get it. I'm just saying his name will be mentioned. Justin Verlander with Houston, 16-3, 184.
Now that's a possibility, but I'd still take. I'd still take. What Judge is doing is historical.
Yes, look, I hope he breaks the record. I really do.
I do too. I hope he gets more than Bonds. To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. But I would love it. I would love it because I want somebody that I feel is clean to break that record. I really do. And if it's Aaron Judge, it's Aaron Judge. At least it's a player that I can respect.
I think. Look, I agree with you. Aaron Judge should win it. I don't think there should be a question. There's a couple guys that at least you could say, look, and again, Justin Verlander should win the Cy Young. We'll give him that. So I still don't think he should be eligible.
16-3 is a hell of a season.
1.84 ERA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. What about the National League? There's two guys that stood out to me.
Yeah, there's two guys that stood out, but I have to go with Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt having a great year, right?
Look, he's second in batting, second in RBIs.
Also talking about,
right, and he's third in home runs, only down by 2.
Yeah.
So.
No,
and with St. Louis, look, everybody picked St. Louis to finish second in that division and maybe not even make the playoffs. And here they are.
Yep. Staying ahead of Milwaukee. And his field percentage, .999.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Can't get much better than that.
He's going to get
Freddie
the Gold Glove.
Freeman as well, though. Freddie Freeman's leading the National League in batting average. Again, not as gaudy numbers, 20 home runs, 91 RBIs, a .996 field percentage as well. So these guys are definitely. And
they're both going to win a Gold Glove.
And think about what the Dodgers are doing. They ran away with it. And he's actually a better player now than he was with Atlanta because of all that help around him. He's able to get to time.
Yeah, when you
it's
have
an interesting race in the National League. I could see that one being neck and split. To your point, Aaron Judge should win American League.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah, and the only reason why I go with Goldschmidt because basically he has to do more because of where he is. And, look, I love that St. Louis lineup. Don't get me wrong, it's a good lineup. But it isn't the LA Dodgers lineup when you have Turner and you have Mookie, and like six other guys that can put up the
They got
numbers.
like 8 All-Stars on this thing.
Yeah.
They're loaded. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, it's face-off time. And this was an interesting face-off only because it was based off of last week's game with the Bears and the 49ers. So one of us has to be for this. One of us has to be against it. It was raining pretty heavily in that game, if you do not recall. The holder brought out a towel and dried the area off. The referees called an unsportsmanlike conduct, gave him a 15-yard penalty, took him out of field goal range. Do you agree with that call? Or are you against that call? One of us is for it. One of us is against it.
I'm totally against that call. I mean, because this is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Look, it's not like he took a snowplow and plowed a path for a kicker to kick a field goal.
Call or are you for the call? I don't get it.
I'm against the call.
You're against, so you don't think it should have been.
So you should have been allowed to do that. You should have been allowed to do that.
Okay.
Because first of
I
all,
have to be for it. Okay, I got you.
First of all, when you're talking injuries, they do everything to protect the quarterback, but why not protect the kicker in this? Because when he plants that foot, that's the important part. Because you don't want him to break something or basically tear an Achilles or whatever it is. So I think there is no problem with just blotting that and throwing the towel. That's
absolutely ridiculous. It should be a penalty. The NFL is very strict with their rules. They don't allow any of this stuff. You can't have certain colored gloves, sneakers.
Well, that's stupid too.
All of this stuff. So guess what? Do not allow somebody to bring a towel. Because what next? They're going to bring a hairdryer or something else because that's going to be acceptable. It should have never happened in New England with Tony Franklin back in the day when they plowed the snow. It's not allowed. Period.
But isn't that why they have that in place now?
Adam Vinatieri, one of the greatest kicks in the history of the game. They didn't bring out a shovel. Those guys were kicking it with their feet. If you want to try to dry it off with your hand, he could have done that. You don't bring out foreign objects. Who knows what was in that towel? Who knows?
Oh, come on.
Absolutely cannot let it happen.
Oh, my God.
They have the towel to dry their hands. They stick it in their pants.
That's right. So they have a towel there for a reason.
They don't go and dry the offensive line before they put the ball down.
That's what they should do. They should protect the kicker.
There we go. Now protect the. Now you want the
got to protect the players from injuries. Come on, you got to protect them.
You hate the kickers. They go out in the game 4 or 5 times in a game.
Look, I'm not saying blot where the ball is. I'm blotting where his plant foot is going to go. That's what I want to blot.
Why don't you just get some with the dry absorb and we can put that down too? And I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? It cannot happen. You cannot have foreign substances on the field at all. It can't happen.
Wait, so you're talking about any player that's foreign? They can't be on there?
Well, that I would never say that because that would not be appropriate.
Well, you said any foreign substance.
Foreign substance. They are human beings. They're not substance. They are matter. They're a matter.
It doesn't matter. Everybody agrees with me. That's a ridiculous rule. And
unfortunately, I can't argue it because I agree with you.
I know you do. That's why you came up with that.
I thought it was
that crap reason.
And they take the poor kid. They got kicked out of the field goal range.
I know.
I was like, come on, man.
That's stupid. It's stupid.
How about a warning? Can't do it. Okay, sorry, won't happen again. No.
First of all, shouldn't the referee say, "Hey, you can't do that" before he even starts doing it?
Yeah, I mean, how long did it take him? He got the towel out there already. You tell me you didn't see him carrying the towel out?
Right, they did.
And it was a full-size towel. It wasn't like it was one little,
the little white ones.
The little terrible, yeah, you know what I mean? It was a giant towel.
Yeah, I know.
Towel.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Whatever.
Right. The referee should say, "Hey, you can't use that," because he knows what he's going to use it for.
Yeah.
It's not like he was wearing it as a scarf.
It would have been great though if he got the towel and he, wrapped and then whacked the referee.
Oh, that would have been awesome. Oh my God, I would have paid for that. I would have paid to see that.
Oh boy. Let's talk some NHL, my friend. Great argument.
It
Good
was.
job.
It was actually a fun topic. I like that one.
Good job.
That was good.
Nathan McKinnon is close to signing an extension with the Colorado Avalanche, which would make him the highest paid player in the league. Do you consider him the best player in the league today?
No.
So why this contract?
Well, because he does so much for a team and actually wins a championship, unlike the best player in the league.
Yeah, but I was kind of questioning that too, because if you look at, they had 4 guys in the top 20 in scoring.
Yeah.
So it was collective, and then they lost Kadri, so that's going to be a big loss.
Right.
But they still have Kale Makar.
Makar.
I always say it wrong. And Mikko Rantanen.
Yep.
Right? So to me, they had quality players.
Well, they do have quality. Yeah.
He was a part of that, but to make him the highest paid player over Connor McDavid, who's currently the highest paid player in the league, $100 million contract over 8 years, led the league in scoring. I think a guy like Austin Matthews, probably one of the top players in the league, he's making more money. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this move.
See,
and not that he's a bad player.
This is what I'm saying. It's like how are they justifying these salaries? And it's the same thing in every sport. Okay, first of all, if I'm the team and I'm saying Connor McDavid is the best player in the league, I'm not paying anybody more than that. I'm not paying anyone more than that. So when you come to me and you want a new contract extension, it's got to be less than what Connor McDavid is getting.
Yeah.
Period. Until somebody outdoes Connor McDavid, that's what I'm going with.
Like Huberdeau signed a big contract. Goudreau signed a big contract. But those were good numbered contracts to me.
Right. They weren't getting Connor McDavid money.
McKinnon's in that range. That's the range it should have been at. And to say he's the best player when he was ranked 19th in scoring this season.
Yeah. No, I don't give it.
32 goals, 56 assists. He was a plus 22, 88 points. It didn't impress me. It didn't wow me. I didn't
believe me. I think he brings a lot to the table, but that table has, like you said, Goudreau, Tkachuk, has, Sidney Crosby at this table.
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin
was ahead of him.
Right.
Right. Like you talk about guys that have done it consistently for how many years?
Those are the guys at the table that he's going to get paid like, to me.
This is, you win a championship, you get rewarded. But I don't know if I agree with why they would do it like that.
Yeah.
But I kind of question it. We're going to talk some Bruins here. So there's a rumor going around. I don't know if you've heard it, Ron, but Zdeno Chara is may return to Boston Bruins for his final season. Your thoughts on the rumors, and should it happen?
Okay, so here's how I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a definite possibility.
So did you hear how the rumors started?
Well, because he's in Boston.
He went to the captain's
to the practice,
and so they're his old buddies and
Look, first of all, I would not say, you know what, I don't want him on the team. I'd absolutely want him on the team.
Yeah, listen, you got 2 defensemen that are going to be out.
Exactly, and that is the reason. You have Zaboral, who is going to prove all those people, all the critics, wrong about Don Sweeney's draft with DeBrusk, Zaboral. Zaboral is going to be a very good defenseman, but he was injured last year. So they are going to try to bring somebody else in. Now I think Chara makes sense because you can get him pretty cheap. The Bruins aren't going to disrespect him in no way.
Another incentive-laden contract or something to that point. Yep.
So what this does, I think if they bring him in, he's going to be an extra defenseman. So you bring him in. Once everybody's healthy, he will be the 7th defenseman. Coach. Now, that to me sounds like a great plan for the Bruins organization. Bringing him in as a coach/player, that to me sounds like a Bruins move. Because this is a guy that people respect probably more than anybody in the history of the game. I mean, he's that well respected. And you know he's going to be in shape because he's a beast in the gym.
Yeah, so because I was 45 last season.
Yep.
And still played 72 games.
Yeah. I think it
know,
makes sense for the Bruins, especially with the injuries they have.
90 blocks, 125 hits. So the man was actually contributing as well. 14 takeaways. You think about it, at his age, at first I was like, this is a PR move. They're going to try. But then you think about the injuries. The city loves him. You're not asking him to be the number one.
Right.
You might have to fill in for a bit for some injuries, but to your point, look, you bring him down afterwards, put him on a third or fourth line, but teach some of these young kids that, Boston's got coming up that they know they're going to have to use. And it's a win-win for both of them.
Eric, they got like 3 defensemen that are still learning. Zaboral is at the top of that list. He's going to make the team. Zaboral is making the team this year. So, and you have a couple of other guys that are just on the cusp. They may need another year in the minors. And this is the bridge to that.
Yeah.
So if Zaboral pans out, and he pans out pretty well, you could possibly see the Bruins trading, a defenseman for something they need, for the playoff run. Because you have a Chara back there. So you're going to trade somebody that could be making a lot of money, and that is a stay-at-home defenseman. And Bruins have one of those that is making a lot of money that isn't Charlie McAvoy or Lindholm.
Yeah.
So you make the deduction out there, fans, on who I'm talking about. Look, histories of concussions. The Bruins are going to try to move his contract, save on that contract, because they know that if Bergeron decides to play another year, they're going to need that cap space. And the only way they're going to be able to do it next year is if they get rid of somebody. So you can't keep kicking the can down the road or you're going to be screwed. So be looking for that. This could actually free up a big salary chunk and give you something for a playoff run that you need, like a forward or something. So
I'm just going to ask you, percentage-wise, what do you think? If you had to put a percentage on it.
I'd say 60 to 70% that they actually sign him in some capacity.
Yeah. It was just odd. He's there.
Yeah.
Like he didn't
absolutely.
Right? So, to me,
and it might just be as a coach where they sign him, but I'd still take that.
Almost like a Haslam in Miami, right? Like Haslam in Miami.
Yeah.
He's there. He's on the bench. The guy never plays.
Yeah.
They just keep paying him a contract so that he can keep coaching and helping, develop players.
Yeah.
So, no, I
like the second quarterback for the Patriots.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer. Absolutely. Yep. Good call.
Hey,
let's bring up this next gentleman because we cover all sports. Can't leave this man out. Roger Federer has announced that he's retiring after this his next tournament. How can tennis survive when they continuously lose these top players? So you look Serena Williams, now Roger Federer. There's not a lot of up and coming that we've heard of, and you think about the two guys on the men's side, Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. Again, they're getting up in age as well. So, what are your thoughts on Roger Federer?
Wow. That's a big loss for tennis, to be honest with you. You lose Serena, who was probably the face of tennis for so long, especially on the women's side. Federer, there's no better class act in men's tennis. Like, he was it. Like, everybody loved this guy. He was a fans champion. Always, addressing the fans. I mean, this is a big loss. And when you think about it, they could lose Nadal maybe next year.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a tough one to for men's tennis to overcome, and I get all. Ugh.
You
But-
okay? He's gonna
yeah.
cry. See, that's how emotional it is. So just some of his numbers alone. I mean, if you think about it, he was number one in the world for 310 weeks, which is second most in tennis history. 20 Grand Slam singles, third all time, right behind Djokovic and Dahl.
Yep.
8 Wimbledon titles, which is the most all time. He won a gold medal in 2008 Beijing in the doubles. So again, he's had an historic career. Again, one of the best tennis players. I love the rivalries he's had. It's going to be a tough loss. It's going to be somebody that, again, we're going to be, for years to come, still talking about as one of the best ever to do it.
And like you said, in men's tennis, there really isn't anybody coming up yet.
Yeah.
Not that has made a name.
Yeah, there's glimmers of hope, but
yeah. There's some players that they need to string some wins together, like the kid that just won the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But that's one
ever,
win.
19, right? Was he 19?
Yeah.
Youngest ever?
Yeah. So we need to see more from him.
Yep, somebody that can carry it on. Ron, it's pick and roll time.
Pick and roll.
And in 1985, 37 years ago, episode 37 years ago, and hence the title, Roger and on our last segment.
Yeah.
These 5 players led
player.
Major League Baseball in batting average, and that was Wade Boggs, Willie McGee, George Brett, Don Mattingly, and Vlad Guerrero. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1. You are first this week, my friend. Have at it.
Yeah, this one was kind of difficult.
It was. It actually was.
The top 3 are really close.
Yes, 3, 2, and 1. I struggled with. I did.
Yeah, I did too. But I'm very comfortable with what I have as my list.
All right, let's see what you got.
Number 5 to me was clear as day, Willie McGee. Now, mind you, I think he's a great ball player. I mean, I'll take his numbers, especially over 90% of the players in baseball today.
Yeah.
Okay, so 76-49 for at-bats. So didn't play, as much as like Boggs, Brett, and Guerrero, but it's a pretty good career. 2,200 plus hits, 295 batting average for lifetime. That is that is a nice average.
Yeah.
352 stolen bases, which is pretty good.
Wow, yeah.
Like he's a table setter.
Yeah.
Agreed. And when you look at his runs, he had 1,000 plus runs, 856 RBIs for a leadoff guy. I'll take that. 4 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves, and I love the defense. Probably 3 Gold Gloves is actually probably surprising to me that he didn't get
3.
more. He's got a World Series championship, and I like that, but his numbers just couldn't.
Yeah. He had the lowest batting average on this list.
The only one under 300. Actually, the only one under 305.
Yeah, and 79 home runs.
Right.
Was by far the lowest.
2 batting champions and a Silver Slugger, which is actually impressive because he's not a slugger. So, all around great numbers. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he is. He's one of those on the border kind of players to me. I wouldn't put him in, but he's right on the border, right on that border for me. Number 4, and I was actually kind of shocked that his numbers were just this. But he did have some injuries late in his career. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he had a bad back. Don Mattingly. I always thought he would have been higher, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to have him at at least 2 or 3. He had 2,153 hits, 307 batting average, 1,000 plus runs, 1,000 plus RBIs, 222 home runs, 6 All-Stars, 9 Gold Gloves.
Pretty impressive.
3 Silver Sluggers, a batting championship, and 1 MVP. But the surprising number out of all of this is 0 championships.
So 96, he retired in 95, and in 96 they won it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Don Mattingly, look, he's a hell of a ball player. I think he got slowed by some nagging injuries late in his career, and he slowed down in his latter years. So, number 3 is where the fun begins. I put Vladimir Guerrero. Um, look, 2,590 hits, a 318 lifetime batting average for a
Very impressive.
slugger
Yep.
is impressive. 449 home runs. Those are nice numbers. 1,300 plus runs, 1,496 RBI.
Mhm.
God, wouldn't you just love to get those extra 4 to get to 1,500? And he had 181 stolen bases as well.
And he was a big guy. He was
Yeah,
a
he was.
big power
Look,
guy. Yeah.
he's a 9-time All-Star, 8-time Silver Slugger, and he won an MVP.
Yep.
But all the other numbers kind of like disappeared. Like I didn't see anything else that stuck
Agreed.
out. And frankly, the 2 guys above him were too good to put him anywhere above 3. Number 2, I put Wade Boggs. And it could have gone either way, but there was one thing that stood out for me, and I'll get to that when I talk about the number 1. But Wade Boggs, 3,010 hits, 328 lifetime batting average, which is the best of all of these guys.
Yep.
Look,
Yes,
this
sir.
guy was a hitting machine.
Oh yeah, trust me.
And look, he led off for the Sox for what, a decade?
Yeah, he dominated those years.
And then later in his career, he figured out how to keep that average and still hit for some power. So they put him in the number 2 and 3 slot after a while. But he had, 1,513 runs, 1,014 RBI as a leadoff hitter. That is, I would take that in a heartbeat. This guy was
Yes.
responsible for over 2,500 runs. He still hit 118 home runs.
Yeah.
Leading off and setting the table for that incredible lineup that the Sox had all those years. 12-time All-Star, 2 Gold Gloves, which is pretty incredible considering he was in the era of, some pretty solid third basemen.
Yeah.
5 batting championships. That he was a great hitter.
Yeah.
A World Series, and of course, 8. Is that 8 Silver
Yeah.
Sluggers?
8 Silver Sluggers. Yep.
Look, those are great numbers. But I had to put the guy at number 1 ahead of him because he had 3,154 hits, 140 more than Wade Boggs, even though he had roughly about 800 more at bats. But there was a little more beef
Yes.
with those numbers. The batting average still 305, was 4th on this list, but 305 is 305, and that's a
It's
great
still,
hit.
anything over 300 is amazing
Right.
for your career. Let's say.
But he scored 1,583 runs, 1,596 RBI. This guy just did it all. He could even steal some bases. Yeah, 201 stolen bases. I didn't even look at his walks because that had to be up there too. This guy had a great vision in that batter's box. But he had 317 home runs. Look, when you thought of the Kansas City Royals, you thought of George Brett.
Absolutely. You are correct.
In my eyes, that is the greatest Kansas City Royal of all time. And I don't care what numbers are of anybody else, because this guy just had that desire to play and scrape for everything. Everything. Now, 13 All-Stars. That's one more than Boggs.
Yeah.
One Gold Glove, one less than Boggs. Two batting champions. Okay, Boggs had 5. A World Series, same as Boggs, and 3 Silver Sluggers, which is surprising because Boggs had 8, which is incredible. But he had an MVP. And I'm looking at that era when you have all these sluggers and you still come and you take that MVP and you're not like a slugger.
Yeah. Some of these guys that we were talking about, right? And you think about,
You had like Jim Rice out there, Eddie Murray, there was so many great players. And of course, all these guys on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some great players in that era. And for you to get an MVP, that's pretty impressive for a guy that's not going to hit you, like 40 bombs.
Yeah.
So I had George Brett number 1. It was close, but I thought that MVP kind of just cinched it with a little extra beef in the numbers.
Yeah. So you got it right. Good job. We had exactly.
We got the same.
Yeah, we had exactly the same. I definitely looked at, like you said, Willie McGee, Don Mattingly, 5'4". Their numbers just weren't as bulky as some of the other guys.
Right.
Vlad batting 318, but then both of the top 2 guys over 3,000 hits.
Yeah.
500 more RBIs for George Brett was what I ultimately went with. Plus almost 200 more home runs.
Yeah.
And again, still batted 305. So always impressive. I love the 9 Gold Gloves though for Mattingly. Was one of actually probably my favorite Yankee before Jeter.
Yeah,
was Don Mattingly.
He could have had, he probably could have put up very similar numbers to Boggs and Brett if he would have played as long. Like when you look at it, he only had 7,003 at bats. That is over 2,100 less than Boggs. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's what? That's like 3-4 seasons.
Yeah, because you're about 500 to 600 bats a season, right? So, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot taken away from Don Mattingly, and I'm looking back, and I'm pretty sure it was a back issue with him that kind of limited him, and it kind of brought his average down too. So his average probably would have been higher, if not for those nagging injuries. And that's just how, that's how it is. Like, when we think of great players, it's tough to put somebody's numbers up against somebody else's.
Another great player, though. Paul O'Neill was another great player for the Yankees.
Yeah, he just retired.
Yeah. So it's prediction time. We already got Kenny's prediction on the Patriots. So we bring that chart up, and we are once again tied, my friend. You had a 1 week run. Good job. 1 week run. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You came through your 1 week. Manny, again, is climbing, at least percentage-wise, 43% now. He might be over 50 after this week. Kind of excited about that as well. Kenny, no more 9-9. Getting tired of seeing that. At least we'll get something off of that.
Yeah, Kenny, come on. Do all the predictions. Get in there.
So we're going to start 9-19 Houston Astros at the Tampa Bay Rays 3-game series.
Let me put this up first. There we go. So that way you, the folks, can play at home. All right, so Houston Astros at Tampa Bay. I am going to go with Houston. I don't think they're going to let the foot off the gas pedal. This team is just too good. If Verlander plays in the series, that's 1 win right there. So, and I got a feeling that Houston is going to scrape out at least another one.
7 games up in the American League. Obviously, they don't want to lose that.
Nope.
Tampa Bay starting to reel a little bit. They're in 3rd place now.
I know.
So
thanks to the Yankees.
So what would I have to go Houston as well. 9-17, we got some MLS action of the New York City Football Club versus
Kenny went Astros.
Yeah, so did Manny. Yeah.
And so did Manny. There we go. So, this is what I like seeing, boys. This is what I like to see.
New York City Football Club at the New York Red Bulls. I am going out on a limb. This is a first for me. I'm picking the Red Bulls. I'm going Red Bulls on this one because they're at home.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do too. I am definitely going the Red Bulls as well. Yeah, like I don't like either of these teams, to be honest with you. If not for the crappy names.
Yeah. New York City Football Club and Red Bulls. Kenny's going Red Bulls.
They give you wings.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Like, how lame. Being named after the actual sponsor. I mean, come on. Come on.
9-17. You got Manny's going New York City.
Oh, there we go. Oh, geez, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, Manny knows some soccer.
Yeah, he does know some soccer. And I got to give it to you, Manny, because I tried to pull that tie call once and it failed miserably.
Manny hit it last week.
Tie, and he actually hit it. So,
hit it.
You know, I got to give
That's
you
like
all
playing
the
when
credit.
you play craps. You know, you got the one green. Like, what's the odds? And people put money on it, and sometimes you hit. So that was a nice.
I gotta give it to you, Manny. That was probably the pick of the week right there.
9-17. You got the number 12 BYU Cougars at number 25 Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go the Oregon Ducks.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go the Ducks.
Going the Ducks. They
I may be a little quacky.
Oh, here we go. All right, Badach. BYU, Kenny. I am going BYU. I'm with Kenny. Just think the Cougars are a much better team. Oregon Ducks did not look good against Georgia at all.
Yeah. Hey, how about that Notre Dame, huh? Did I call that?
Yeah,
they're 0-2. I told you they weren't good.
They're gonna struggle.
When I said they were ranked, I was like, no, they are not a ranked team.
All right, you're the only one going for the Ducks. Manny went for the Cougars as well.
Yep, I'm well aware of that.
We got some boxing, my friend. Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G this Saturday night. This is the third installment of this fight.
Do you know what their records are?
They split decision, and then Alvarez won the second fight. They was 2-1 on the judges' card.
I mean like their lifetime record.
Oh no, I do not have that.
All right, so I'm going to go Alvarez.
I'm going.
I just like Canelo as a name better than Gana
I will say this. I think Triple G is definitely starting to age a little more. Alvarez is definitely one. His boy Canelo, man, he's going Canelo.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
Triple G, Kenny goes Triple G. We've got a lot going on here, people. This is going to be an interesting week. We got next 4 football, my friend. 9-18. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints.
I'm going Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Me and Rob Ninkovich, the only ones in the country, right?
I'm going New Orleans Saints. The Bucs are beat up. Really,
I know they are, but I got a feeling.
And Tom hasn't played well with the Saints against the Saints. It just makes sense. Kenny's going Saints as well.
And I expect Manny to do the same thing. Unless he comes to the dark side. TB12.
Bucs,
there it is. Bucs. Yes.
That's because they beat the Cowboys. He hasn't gotten over it. 9-18. We got the New England Patriots at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I picked first last time, so
I am going Pittsburgh.
I am going
game, but I'm going Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Kenny kind of hit it on the head. 28-17 sounds pretty close to what I expect. I think it's 24-17 to be honest with you. But I'm going New England.
We put them at 5, and this was the injuries. So week 1, yes, they were the 5th best team on NFL rankings. Manny wanted to bring that into the equation.
Absolutely, and rightfully so.
They won't be in the top 5 after this.
Manny, he didn't ask for my opinion on that top 5, by the way. Just saying.
So you and Kenny have the Patriots. Me and Manny have the Steelers.
That's right.
9-19. So Monday night, Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills.
your turn.
I picked Pittsburgh. I went first. Yeah,
I
you're
went.
right.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I'm going Buffalo. This game isn't even going to be close. At least 40 points for Buffalo. Yeah. No,
Manning
Tannehill.
going
This could be the
Buffalo
last
Bill.
game for Tannehill.
Ooh, Willis, you think so, huh? So we're all going Buffalo. All right.
This is a Buffalo stance.
I love it. That was a good song. Nina Cherry. You guys
I
probably don't
know.
remember that.
Nana.
Nina Cherry.
Nina
Yes.
Cherry. Not Nina.
You know me and my names. You know how I am with names.
I know you're terrible at names.
9-19 Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. We said how big of a game this is going to be. Probably the game of the week. I'm going because of Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings to win this game on the road.
I'm going Philly.
I knew you would.
Philadelphia is look to
Kenny's
me
going
that
Minnesota.
team. I think they just have too many weapons.
Kirk with
look, they just
JJ.
had too much.
Manny's going Vikings as well.
Yep, you guys can all go Vikings, and that's okay. But they're going to come back to earth, and Philadelphia gets the win and takes a stronghold on the division.
So each week we do our predictions. If you join in, we'll definitely make sure you add it to the list. So guys, thank you so much for joining
We had a
tonight.
lot different today.
Four different. So it'll be an interesting week.
We're going to go 2-2.
Yeah, we'll tie it again. So if you enjoy what you're watching, the ticket's been running all the way, different ways to watch and follow us. If you'd like to sponsor the show, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Email. It is less than a cup of coffee. It is worth it. Thousands of eyes on your business every week. And we're worldwide, not just a local. So worldwide on that. Follow us on all our formats as well. Facebook, YouTube, Google. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. We're on everything now. So there's so many ways to watch and listen to us. Follow us on YouTube.
That's 1,103 now. We added another one yesterday.
Excellent. Thank you for all the support for everybody out there. Thank you for joining us live tonight. Manny, Kenny, you guys have been awesome. Ron, as we normally do, we end it off with our final thought. Doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. You are first this week, my friend. So your final thought.
Okay, so I didn't know if I should continue with the Roger Federer thing or not, or the Phoenix Suns. But I feel like a rant is there, just waiting. Look, we say it pretty much every week now. Enough is enough. The NBA needs to come down and put the hammer to the owner. They need to strike hard. So this never happens again in the NBA, because now this is really twice. This is twice. So apparently, it's not enough to remove somebody from their team and that will stop people, because it's just happened again. So you need to strike hard, because you can't let this be the NFL and have it a free-for-all and a party for the owners, because the owners are getting away with so much in the NFL, and you can't let that stand. You need to be the one league that stands up to all of this BS and come down hard. And you know what? People will say, oh, well, you can't change your mind. Well, you know what? It's too bad. Yeah, you can. After looking at this, maybe we didn't do enough. And you come out and you say we didn't do enough, and this is now the decision. You are gone, and you need to make arrangements to change ownership. Period. There cannot be any substitution. You have to do this. because I'd be the first one to say, you know what? If the NBA isn't going to do enough, then maybe the NBA should lose some sponsors. That will get you talking in a hurry.
No, well said.
And farewell, Roger Federer.
Yeah.
My
And
favorite
right.
player of all time.
If you think about the LA Clippers with Don Sterling and when that all happened,
absolutely,
eventually, and you thought people would learn from that mistake, and they did.
And I feel for Chris Paul, who's now had to go through it twice.
Yeah,
like that should not happen.
You're absolutely right. And you got an applause from Kenny. Kenny, thank you.
You can't you can't let somebody be a victim twice. You can't let that happen.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is a victim. He's a victim. You know, and we get on him for not winning championships, but you know what? He's a victim in this. Like,
he's
this
the
is
spokesman
just
for
not
that team.
right.
He has to talk for that team again. So my final thought is actually kind of similar, but different. And mine is based on the fact that the people that came forward with the Phoenix Suns, they were actually the ones that went through and had these actions happen to them, and they had every right to speak. They really did. My problem is now there's been some discussion about Tony Romo, who in week 1 made a comment about Andy Reid after a nice play. He was smiling. He was talking to some of the guys, and he said, you could tell Andy Reid was telling those guys, let's go get a snack. And now there's people out there that are so sensitive that are saying that he was fat shaming Andy Reid, and basically he should be removed from the broadcast going forward. It needs to stop. If Andy Reid has a problem with it, I'd be all okay with Andy Reid saying, you know what, I don't think it's appropriate. But these people that go out there and just make these comments and feel like it's okay. When Andy Reid, after winning the Super Bowl, his first comment was, I'm going to get myself a cheeseburger. Like, that's who he is. Manny, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate you joining us every week. You've been awesome, man. We need to stop being so sensitive as a society and allow people to understand that sometimes people just make comments as a joke. It wasn't taken seriously. I do not believe he was fat shaming Andy Reid. And yet these people are the ones that are going to try to get somebody banned or removed from their job when it really has no merit. But a guy that clearly has made comments, I don't hear them discussing that person and being removed. That's who you should be attacking, because there's people that have come forward that have actually had it happen to them and have said it happened to them, and they were embarrassed or ashamed or violated. Andy Reid didn't say a word. Andy Reid didn't come out and say, you know what, he shouldn't have said it. Andy Reid, I'm sure, would have probably said, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So why don't you get Andy Reid's side before you come out and just make a comment and try to get somebody fired for something that obviously didn't have anything to do with fat shaming. It was not the meanings behind it. Stop being so sensitive about everything that somebody says. Grow up, people. Grow up. That's my final thought.
I don't want to grow up.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to. Okay?
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Ron, it's been a great show. Been great participating with Manny, Kenny. You guys have been awesome tonight. We get to do it all again on Friday, my friend.
Absolutely.
All right. Enjoy some football this weekend. And
Sunday we'll be here.
Sunday we'll be here. Yeah, Sunday Patriots post-game show after the game, about 4:30 p.m. Kenny will join us for that as well. Cannot wait. Hopefully a Patriots win, even though I pick Pittsburgh. I do it every time to myself. But we will see you on Sunday night. Ron, take care. Fans out there, all we ever ask for is peace.
Have a great night, everybody.